Welcome back. Today's lesson we're going to be talking about dividing decimals. So we've been working on decimals all week, adding, subtracting, then multiplying, and now finally dividing. Dividing is not as bad as it sounds, alright? If you can do long division of regular numbers, you can do long division of decimals. Now notice I have two different problems here. I have a decimal divided by a whole number, and then over here I have a decimal divided by a decimal. We broke these two lessons down into 2 different days. The first one just being decimal divided by a whole number, and then the second day it got just a little more difficult. We added one more step to do decimal divided by a decimal. So let's start over here with dividing by a whole number first. We have 12.32 divided by 4. So first things first, I have to rewrite this to look like long division. So my first number needs to go inside of my long division symbol. My second number goes on the outside. They kind of like crisscross. Alright, so I'm going to draw my long division symbol. Like I said, they kind of crisscross right here. The 4 will go on the outside. The 12.32 will go on the inside. Okay, now after I've rewritten the problem, the very next thing to do is bring this decimal point straight up into the answer. Get it over with, get it done. Okay? I've told my kids, act like you pumped it straight full of helium and it floats straight up into the answer right there. Now, I don't even have to worry about it. I can really just look at it as 1,232 and divide. 4 does not go into 1, but it goes into 12 3 times. 4 times 3 is 12. Subtract. Alright. Check. Is 0 less than 4? Yes, it is. Bring down that 3 now. Okay? Well, does 4 go into 3? It does not. It goes in there 0 times. So I have to put that 0 up there. That's important. I could do 4 times 0 is 0 and subtract and still get 3. But I don't need to. Bring down my 2. 4 goes into 32 8 times. And I get a 0. Alright, so my final answer is 3.08 right there. Okay. Now, if I go over here, this is a decimal divided by a decimal. 7.845 divided by 0.15. Once again, draw my long division side. They crisscross each other. 0.15 and 7.845. Okay? Now, before I had a whole number on the outside. Now I have a decimal. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this so that it is a whole number. Alright? So I'm going to move the outside decimal all the way to the right so that I have a whole number now. 1, 2. And we talked about this in class, but this is multiplying by a base 10 number. This is multiplying by 100. Alright, and essentially this just is erased, and it's 15. Well, just like our golden rule in everything, in treat each other as how you want to be treated. In algebra, what I do to one side, I do to the other. Fractions, what I do to the top, I do to the bottom. Decimals is no different. If I move the outside by 2, I have to be fair and multiply the inside by 2. Alright, and that decimal is erased. This new decimal now floats straight up into the answer, and it's just like long division before. 15 goes into 7 0 times, but it goes into 78, let's see here, 15, 30, 45, 60, 5 times, which gives us 75. Subtract 8 minus 5, that gives me 3, and bring down my 4. Okay, 15 goes into 34 twice, which is 30. And bring down my 5. 15 goes into 45. Let's see here. That's going to be 15, 30, 45, 3 times. Finish the problem off by showing all of my work. And I get a final answer of 52.3. Okay. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is these both were nice. Alright, they both went into the decimal the exact amount of times. But what if it doesn't? Alright, what if it doesn't? So, let's make up another problem down here, and I'm not going to finish it. Let's see here. We'll do problem number 3 here. And what would be a good problem? Let's go ahead and do 1236. We're going to take this number up here, 1232. But instead of dividing by 4 this time, we're going to divide it by 6. So 12.32 divided by 6. Okay? Well, once again, I rewrite it. 6, 12.32. All right, nothing new. Bring that decimal straight up into the answer. 6 goes into 12 twice. Well, that's very convenient. 6 does not go into 3, so there's a 0. Bring down that 2. All right, well, let's see. 6 goes into 32 5 times. I subtract, and I get a 2. Well, I have nothing else to bring down. This might be an issue. All right. Whereas before, I got a 0 when there was nothing else to bring down in both problems. Now I have something, and I cannot say there's going to be a remainder. So, to fix this, I'm going to add a 0 right here and bring it down. Remember, adding zeros after the decimal point, after all the numbers, it will not change the value. All right. 6 goes into 20. Let's see. That's 3 times, and that's an 18. I subtract, and I get a 2 again. Add another 0. All right. Now, you would add a 0 normally, and we can probably, hopefully, see now 6 goes into 20 3 times again, and that's going to be 18, left with a 2 again. All right. So, we should hopefully see now that I'm always going to get 3s after this. Well, how do I write that? 2.05, and since the 3 will keep on going on forever, we call that a repeating decimal. I write my 3, and I write a horizontal line above that 3. All right, which tells me it will be going on forever now. That 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, and so on, forever. So my answer, 2.053 repeating.